Alright guys, about 3 days ago, I asked you guys for your hot takes on Playboi Carti and I got about 240 of them. So in this video, I'm just going to react to your guys' hot takes, see if they're any good or not, and yeah. And let me know if you like these. I think you guys do, so I'm going to just keep doing them, but I think it's pretty cool way to interact. But anyways, let's get into it. His demonic arc is so cringe that it's bringing me closer to God. Alright, closer to God is kind of crazy, but I feel like the whole upside down cross, Satan, demonic, this and that is just like a little played out for sure, you know, especially because they definitely don't actually believe in any of that shit. Maybe Carti does because he's a horrible person, but you know. So said, bros pushing 30 and role playing. I think Carti needs to move to Kazakhstan, find an exiled Russian Orthodox priest, find God, and become a world famous Kazakh disco pop star. What? Imagine if Carti became a Buddhist monk and started meditating in temple 24/7. It would be crazy. Or if he started making Christian/worship music. Haha. Yeah, that is not happening. Alright. Not too crazy of a hot take. I think a lot of people think the whole demon stuff is cringe. I think that since Died Lit, Carti has taught an absolute masterclass on developing and building relevance in pop culture and the rap game, while also simultaneously being able to connect with younger audiences, even though he's a SoundCloud OG. He was on the same XXL as X back in 2017, 7 years ago. Most of the artists from the 2016 to 2018 eras, fans and audiences grew up so much with them that it's almost impossible for them to ever be as relevant as they once were. I'm 22, I know. And like as much as I f with artists like Nat and Che, I find it hard to be as much of a crazed parasocial fan of them as I was for X and Juice WRLD when I was a teenager. Carti's ability to latch on to this young, energetic target audience for almost a decade has to be studied, deadass. Alright, I've said this before and he's very right. And to be honest, I don't think Carti is the only person who did this. I think other people did it as well. I think Uzi did a very good job of it until like 3 years ago, where it was like, alright, holy what did you do? But Carti definitely did it the best. He also made a good point. I just can't latch on to these artists the same way I was able to when I was a teenager. And I think that's just because teenagers and women are just the most emotionally invested into artists. You know, think of like Netspend. All his fans are like 13, but they just love him so much, you know what I mean? I also think a big part of Carti being able to appeal to all these younger audiences is because it's really two things. It's number one, his music didn't like mature. It's still very like fun, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Whereas others, like, I'm trying to think who's left, like Trippie Redd, oh my god, you know, I don't even need to say anything. Or honestly, if you look at the XXL 2017 class, Carti has outlasted all of them by a huge margin. Like Ugly God, completely gone. Cap G, completely gone. Amine, completely gone. X, rest in peace. A Boogie, like, he's still big, but you know, he and B Rock, rest in peace. Kyle fell off like a year later. You know, even 2016, when you look at people like Uzi and Yachty, they lost like the funness, you know, like the playfulness. They lost the original style of music that appealed to these younger audiences, you know what I mean? I feel like Carti, although he's evolved, still has that, you know? Like Yachty's audience used to be so young and now it's undeniably old. I feel like people who listen to Yachty are like 21, old as in this scene, like they're like 21, 22 to 25 plus, you know? Anyways, someone else said, I feel like the more mysterious he is, the less people know. Or sorry, the less people care now. All right, so this is a hot take. I don't think less people care. I just think that he's actually been way less mysterious this year. This is like the year where he's been the least mysterious because he's been, you know, you gotta understand, like normally we'd expect him to do like this, oh, I'm coming back, and everyone makes a big deal about it once. But he did it like 10 times this year, you know, and I feel like he's either got to like love this attention or something, or I don't know what's going on with him, like, you know what I mean? And every time you do it, you know, it gets a little less crazier, you know what I mean? It hasn't been as much because every time he does it, he sometimes drops, sometimes doesn't. You know, we've already spoken about how weird his rollout has been, but you know. Anyway, someone said, yet you're on a video about him. Carti is my #1 listen to artist every month. All right, so that's enough. Anyways, this next comment said something very, very, very interesting. Bro gotta be the biggest fraud I've ever seen. Stole sound from an aesthetic from Uno, Bonnie, Thug, Saw Baby, SGP, Cray, Echo 2K, and sometimes blatantly copied an artist, how he did Future on All Red, relying on other bigger artists to carry his career like Rocky, Ye, Travis, Pierre, Uzi, and always had a stylist throughout his whole career. Ian, Connor, Ari, Sex is Death, while trying to push his fashion icon image. Carti never was this boundary pushing artist he makes himself out to be. He faked his artistry and used the most unauthentic ways to do it. He never once did something close to original. Thug and Ye are the prime example of the artist that Carti thought he was, when in reality, he's nothing but a generational fraud, and one of the most unauthentic artists out there. He's just good at finding creative directors to build and protect his corny image that only appeals to little middle schoolers now, so these obvious things won't stand out. Alright, there's a lot to unpack here. First, he said, yo, he stole his sound and aesthetic from blah, 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 all these people. Okay, he didn't steal anything from Saw Baby for sure. Uno and Fani, he definitely stole some from Thug. Now here's the other thing. When he says like Thug, SCP, Cray, Echo, I think those are just like inspirations. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say he stole everything from them. And also, you know how they say good artists copy, great artists steal? I think Picasso said that or something. That's exactly what Carti does. So you can't really knock him for that. Now, the next thing he said, and sometimes blatantly copying an artist, how he did with Future on All Red. I don't think he meant to like copy Future. He probably was annoyed by that. Relying on other bigger artists to carry his career. He's talking about Rocky, Kanye, Travis, Pure, Uzi, etc. Pure was never bigger than him. I guess, other artists. Something. All right, I mean, so here's the thing. I feel like social climbing is just how most of these musicians and artists and actors and people in entertainment go up anyways. You know what I mean? And there are countless times where people get put on by someone and then they put on by someone else, etc., etc. And that's just how it works, you know? So I wouldn't really say it's horrible, but yeah, he's definitely kind of fake. Person then says, and has always had a stylist throughout his whole career. Ian Connor, Burberry Airy, Sex is Death, while trying to push this fashion icon image. To be honest, if you look at most of the like people, girls are like, oh my God, it's so iconic. Like, it's definitely, they all have stylists, you know what I mean? Carti having a stylist isn't like that crazy, in my opinion. And also, you know, I'll go into the next paragraph. He basically says, he faked his artistry in the most unauthentic ways, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, knowing who to pick and what to put where and who to use, you know, for what is a harder skill than doing any of those. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't really knock it like that. It is like a decent argument though. I'm not gonna say, and it is a great hot take. So I appreciate you, Angel Archive, for making this comment. He also ended it by saying, and this is why Uzi will always be better than Carti. All right. Somebody also said, I agree with this and think you hit all the points, especially the last part about discovering actual people with taste. One thing I will add to this though is that at the end of the day, he can rap. He be flowing for show, and what ultimately is gonna keep him relevant. Someone said, for his album to be called I Am Music, the music he's been putting out has been generic. Carti hasn't moved the needle in 4 years. All right. To be honest, the deep voice is pretty different. I just think fans aren't as attracted to it as the baby voice. You know what I mean? But also, you gotta understand he has to do different shit. Put by Air, Evil Jordan, Different Day. In my opinion, those are different. I like that Different Day, You're the Moon sound the most, by the way, but you know, that is the most different. I don't think that it's very generic. I think some of the snippets he's recently been previewing, like, and on top of the single, All Red, those are pretty generic. But I don't think it's that generic, you know what I mean? Also, you know, he's not really supposed to move the needle without dropping, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's time for Playboi Carti to come to Kazakhstan. I've seen enough from this young man's tomfoolery. By the way, this whole deep voice thing is a huge concern and dislike from most of his fans. Like, a lot of these comments are this. The deep voice was cool at first, but it got old pretty quickly. I like the singing voice in Near the Moon and the new IG song he dropped this Friday more. I agree. And I said it perfectly. Carti is the Amy Schumer of hip hop. All right, definitely a hot take. Basically, Amy Schumer isn't actually funny, but she got really big. And what this guy's saying is, basically Carti's music isn't that good, but he still got big. Carti's cult fandom is the worst thing to happen to his career. Completely destroyed his drive for making music and gave him the green light to play around way too much. I understand what he's saying here. He's basically saying like, Carti can like do whatever the he wants and they'll glaze him. Like, you know, he can drop some mint. Like his last snippet, it was cool, but it was not anything crazy. I didn't think it was amazing. But if you saw people were acting, it was like, you know. Like, if you hear that one song, Ketamine, he dropped on Instagram earlier this year, it was like, that song was not that good. People were like, oh, you know, I just didn't like it that much, you know. He is already past his prime and has been for like 3 years, which is really sad. All right. So personally, I think Whole Lotta Red will be his artistic prime, but I think commercially he will outdo himself last time, just from how much he's grown through Whole Lotta Red. But I don't think he's like washed or anything, you know. And also we do have to see, because, you know, people say a lot of stuff. Carti needs to come to India. Sure. Because this guy just like described as a dystopian output or outcome. After Carti releases, if he does, the fans will realize the wait wasn't worth it and eventually stop liking him, causing a near generational fall off, which is pretty sad because all he had to do was, instead of dropping like 6 to 7 singles, he could have used that time in marketing to actually drop a project. All right, so this fan is really preying on his downfall. I don't know if he's gonna have a generational fall off, you know. I think people will dick ride whatever he drops. I just think fans have no idea what to expect on the project, which is a good thing. That's something he has going for him. But yeah, if it's like bad, then, you know, it is what it is. Honestly, it's better for the project to be bad than mid. Because if the project is bad, you can always just justify, like, as long as something's different, you can always justify it's like really good, or like, oh, this is like, you know what I mean? But if it's just mid, it's like, you know. And the main thing, I'm not reading all the comments, but the main things I've noticed is deep voice sucks or is cringe. and Carti should have dropped the album / messed up the rollout. That's what I'm seeing, like, and the mysterious stuff is played out. And this is like a huge frustration seems amongst fans. Carti messed up big time with the rollout. I've been saying this for quite some time now, but I honestly believe that I Am Music will probably be a huge letdown. If he didn't take so long making it, the hype would have been better. To be honest, he had all he needed. The raw production and deep voice created a perfect vibe for the album, and giant hot take, this voice is miles better than any other Carti voice. At this point, after the release of the new Instagram song and recent snippets, he's just getting lazy with the repetitive flows and boring sounds. I kind of agree. I mean, I get it, like, but I don't know. Like, the thing about the deep voice is it's really the music. Like, if the song is hard, like Evil Jordan and Hood by Air are amazing songs, you know? The other thing too is he's more of like, he raps more traditionally with the deep voice, so I don't know. It's just your taste. And there are like tons more comments about the deep voice. I'm gonna skip that. Someone said something interesting though. Whole Aura is a gimmick and has officially been promoted as the GOAT, kind of a plant from day one. Dude has never been that dope lyrically or as a person. It's insulting to all the dope rappers out there that actually are talented to constantly have this dude be put above them by Team Rocket crony type kids. Yeet way better, Uzi way better, Money Man. Okay, Money Man is where it's like, all right, a lot of your say just got whacked there, bro. But this just sounds like someone who, I just feel like nobody cares about Carti's lyrics like that, or more about how the music feels, you know? Okay, this is a really, really, really hot take. It's by someone named Hey.I'm41 and I love Netspend. All right, bro. He should go off the map for another year or so, replenish his aura, I guess. Then he should drop his album out of the blue. I'm sure we'd enjoy the album way more that way, even if we'd had to wait and there's uncertainty. No more of this cock teasing bullshit and stupid posts on Instagram, and no more features until he drops his album either. Yeah, I agree. I think the feature run was really good because it kept Carti's name in the conversation, you know? But at the same time, you know, it also, you don't want to feed the fans too much. So yeah, I agree. He shouldn't. I just think he's over previewed, you know? He should have like been more mysterious, like literally, not even trying to joke, you know? Carti won't live up to the hype. A lot of his singles he's released recently haven't, at least for me. So with Whole Lotta Red, he only released one, and that single did not live up to the hype for pretty much everyone. But these, yeah, I would say it's a little like, Carti used to move the needle. He needs to go back to his old sound. He never cared for Lil Uzi Vert, just wanted him for marketing. I mean, Uzi was way bigger than Carti when they were first like kicking in and everything, and he got even bigger. Carti's definitely closed the gap and even gained some on him. So yeah, maybe, you never know. Prime Carti is Cash Carti. It's cool. I wouldn't say prime though. Carti is the biggest he's ever been right now and isn't fully capitalizing on it. I agree, but I think he has like a little leeway. I feel like the way people are acting, like, yo, he just needs a little more time, in my opinion, you know? Carti's gonna sell Travis level numbers with his album People Not Ready. I don't know how it's still being denied. Honestly, the thing about Travis is I feel like Travis, he doesn't have like that middle schooler audience per se, but he has like high school all the way to like people late into their 20s, which is a huge range of demographic. Probably even some people in, even some people in their 30s, you know? Because he's been around for so long, you know what I mean? Like so long. Carti, for him to do that, he definitely has to take advantage of bundles, but you know, maybe I could see him doing like, honestly, I don't even want to say any numbers. We'll just see. Deep voice era is generic and okay. There's so many deep voice comments, like hate comments that, yeah, anyways, along with the trash ass jersey fits. Honestly, the whole jersey fits, the backward jersey and everything that had to do all that stuff. I feel like when you're entering a new era as an artist, image is one of the only ways where you could really like beckon it in, if that makes sense. You can only, you know what I'm saying? Like, how else are you supposed to separate yourself? At least timeline wise. So, you know, you see artists do this all the time. Dye their hair, get a haircut, do this, change their style, you know, like simple. This person said something very interesting. I actually agree. Carti is too big to fail now, and he is in his Astroworld era. I agree. I actually totally agree. This is very well said. I don't see Carti. There's just no way he flops unless he drops some garbage. It's just, there's no way he does it after 5 years. You know, it does remind me of the whole like Astroworld thing where, you know, Travis took so long and he dropped like this huge project. Obviously, I feel like Travis is he's more mainstream, but and also depends on how much of like an artistic / commercial approach Carti takes his album. Travis did a really good job of balancing both, you know. Also, another thing to say is after Astroworld, Travis never really got back in his bag like that, you know. He just didn't. Different Day was the best out of the singles he's dropped during the run, and he needs to use production and flows like that more often. He just sounds way better sticking to his normal register, and the beat fit his inflections perfectly. It sounds like fresh compared to everything else he's done before, while still retaining all the good qualities of his older work. The other singles were good, but that song was just special. Yeah, I agree. Different Day is really, the video for that was fire too, but it fit and everything. But I think melodic Carti is still like just the best Carti, you know, when he's singing and that style is just so cool. That beat is amazing too. Someone said that timeless song is AI, yet nobody has really talked about it. It's weird. We just let it slide. Also, I'm not subbed to you for sure. You should get off my feed. Sorry, bro. Sorry, Garfield. But basically, I think Carti's just a master of PR at this point. He can just make fans think about whatever they want. About whatever he wants them to. Doesn't mean they don't know certain things. It just means that he can like I don't know. He does this thing where whenever there's something negative about him in the news, he just like does this like little misdirection play or whatever you want to call it and announces music, and then everyone forgets, you know. And then they'll call him out for like the first day and they'll be like, oh man, why didn't the music drop? Why didn't the music drop? And they'll just completely forget. It's like, all right, okay, bro. Carti has been trying to thug max by faking his ATL stuck in the trap accent recently, and nobody talking about it. Bro think he Suge Knight or something. Yeah, so Carti grew up in like a nice place in Atlanta, like a nice neighborhood, you know, great family, everything. I believe Ruby Rose or some shit has interviews talking about it. You know, he used to skate, no street whatsoever, but honestly, like, being hard or coming off as a thug, you know, if you go back to like the 2000s gangster rap, none of those rappers were really like, a lot of those rappers weren't really like that, you know what I mean? And the ones who were the ones who you wouldn't really expect it to. Like MC Hammer was like crazy hard, you know? But if you listen to the music he was making, it wasn't really like that. So yeah, but honestly, it's just aesthetics, really. If bro don't stop with these lame-ass IG reel snippets, he finna be replaced by Osama-san and Saw Baby. That is a hot take, but that's never happening. Most overrated rapper of all time. I think a lot of people blaze Carti more than they actually resonate with the music, but you know, just him being able to have them do that is good enough. He overplayed the mysterious thing and now everyone thinks it's corny now. Kinda, but I think Carti still has it. I think people who became corny were like Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely, because they didn't stick to one enough. Like, I feel like you either have to be, you know, super mysterious, like on some everyone shit, or you got to be very, very open everything, you know? I think Ken and Lone are an example of being in the middle and it up. Carti delaying the album to next January as he is afraid of being overshadowed by other albums like Chromacopia, We Don't Trust You, etc. Alright, so this might be true, maybe, and I'll explain. So not only was Chromacopia or We Don't Trust You drop, I don't think We Don't Trust You was quite a while back, but I believe, you know, Kendrick just dropped. They're both on Interscope, you know, maybe that threw his stuff off as well. I believe Drake also is going to drop before the year ends. Who knows? So yeah, it seems like he's going to drop January or February. 2025 is really crazy though. Like, he's really making us wait more than 4 years. Now, this person also said something very interesting too. He said Carti was never a crazy, insane rapper. Yes, but the music he's put out recently since his Fiend feature has been genuinely boring. And I feel like I have to force myself to enjoy his music now. Used to be a fan and still want to, because I genuinely did really enjoy his music and definitely defended him heavily. I'm glad there's a new generation of Carti fans who can enjoy and love his vibes now. But to me, all these songs sound so boring with delivery. All over the place flows, and overall the feeling that he's legit, just one taking to find a flow and then calling it a day. I mean, who knows? He probably does that. He probably has always done that, to be honest. I think he made one really good point though. The music he's put out recently has felt boring. That's why I feel like everyone is hating on the deep voice. It just doesn't give that, like, I feel like Carti, and the reason why people like You're the Moon / Different Day or whatever that song is because it's good, but it also feels different. I feel like the deep voice isn't different enough for people, you know? Osama-san is better than him. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, recently I've been listening to more Osama-san because of all the leaks, but yeah. He's polishing his craft too much. People might not appreciate it as it is. There's no reason to why he pushed back this album. So much hype is dying slowly, but I can think he can live up for it still. I think he can, to be honest. But yeah, he's definitely like killing the hype too much. Like, he shouldn't have popped out like this if he wasn't gonna drop, you know? But I think with all the festivals and stuff, he had to, you know? Carti is going to be the biggest musician in history genuinely, and will essentially be looked at as the modern Michael Jackson in 5 to 10 years time. And the name I Am Music will age like wine the same way the song Woke Up Like This by Carti aged. Alright bro, that's a little too much. Honestly, his music isn't as good as people hype it up to be. We all know he don't be talking about none. It's just really good background party music. I don't know about all that. Another thing I noticed is a lot of people were like saying, yo, Whole Lotta Red era was cool, now and then the music's kind of mid, no something, blah, 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 you know. So a lot of people seem to think that Whole Lotta Red is going to be his peak, and this is one comment said it really well. Carti will never match Whole Lotta Red. His originality ran out years ago. Almost everything he does is derived from someone else's work. His whole mysterious gimmick is way post-played out, and it's just cringe. Plus, he's to blame for new artists thinking they have to be mysterious, which just makes most of them corny. He's lazy and knows that his fans will eat it up and praise anything him or Opium does. So this is another concern, as I said just now. Fans don't think Carti can drop an album like Whole Lotta Red again. I think Whole Lotta Red was really like a lightning in a bottle moment. I don't think you can like engineer it like that. And maybe they're right, but I still think iMusic has a lot of potential. There's a lot of underground rappers doing his sound better than him. He's waiting to drop his magnus opus, in my opinion. Carti is definitely aware of Unk status for real though, and he just turned 29. He knows that this is him dropping with superstar status now. It's like his final mission, almost, but he can keep going. He knows he has to be perfect. Yeah, I think this is also like Carti knowing this is his, I won't say magnum opus, but he's at the tail end of his prime. You know what I mean? Like once you get this age, you know, unless you, I don't know, I feel like for the type of music Carti makes, he cannot, there's no way you can be in your prime 30. He's gonna have to completely rebrand. You know, the reason why Kanye was able to stay so on top for so long was because his music was like genuine art. I'm not trying to diss Carti. It's just, and it appealed to so many different people. You know, like it's very few people will deny that Kanye is the greatest artist, at least musically, in this generation, right? I don't think you could say that about Carti. So I think that this album really is like, you know, it for him. But who knows? He can always rebrand, do something. He ain't that good, overrated, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Old Carti better. I mean, honestly, there are a lot of like older people that think older Carti is better. So that's not even like a real hot take in my opinion. There are plenty of people who think that, but I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and peace. See you tomorrow.